everybody, and welcome back. Today is TBR day. I swear to you that it was just spooky season, and I don't really know how we got from October to now doing my December TBR, but here we are, we're doing it, and wow. Okay, so it's December, and in December, I really want to try to get in a lot of like Christmas romances and wintry type books, but we're going to see if the TBR allows me to do that. I would also love to get in some of those end of the year, I really need to complete some series type books, but again, we're going to see if the TBR allows me to do that. I don't have a lot of mandatory reads this month. I think that the Officially Unofficial Book Club is reading Merry Little Meet Cute for our December read, and then at some point in the end of December, the 1st of January, I have to read An Echo of Things to Come, the James Islington, the second book in that series. We're still trying to decide whether or not we're doing Bonds of Chaos by Zach Argyle. It's going to kind of depend on how many people read the second book and if we want to continue. So that one may be in there as well. There are several series that I just really wanted to get finished and or get started on, but I don't know if that's going to happen. So we're just going to see what the TBR holds, and then I could end up making a like books that I want to finish before the end of the year thing later. I don't know. I'm stressed out. I cannot believe it is the end of the year. I guess really quickly, I forgot that I didn't tell you guys how I did in last month's TBR. I don't think it was great. And now I'm even trying to find where it was. So for the first roll, we had Award Winner, and I went with a Spiffbo book and did A Touch of Light. I did not read that. I realized that A Touch of Light is my top prediction for Spiffbo, and I didn't want to read my best one first. So I kind of kept putting it all off, and I plan to still read one of them before the end of the month. So I don't know which one it's going to be, but I do plan to still read one of them before the end of the month. The next one is one that Cassidy picked for me, and she did Stones of Light by Zach Argyle. I did complete this. It didn't go well, but it got completed. And the next one was to continue a series. That one I decided to do Blood of the Chosen, and I did complete this one. I gave it a 4-star, and I've actually finished Emperor of Ruin, or will have by the end of the year, so I knocked off 2 for 1 in that one. That gets me bonus points, right? And then for the next roll, we got a book with chapter titles. This one I did Of Darkness and Light by Ryan Cahill. I did start this one. I got over halfway through it and then did decide to soft DNF it. I'm counting it because I did definitely start it, but it just wasn't really working for me and it was kind of putting me in a slump. But I do still want to read it. So the plan is to continue that book. It's just not going to be right now. But since I started it and got over halfway through it and that thing is a hoss, we're counting it. Then I got a book from a list, and I chose off of my goals list for Knock It Out November, and I did Golden Enclaves, which I did also complete. So I think from the actual TBR Bluff TBR, all that I managed not to read was A Touch of Light. Theoretically, I'm planning to read one of those before the end of the month, but we'll see if I actually get to it. So I am going to take a punishment roll for this one. Okay, so I think that's enough yammering on my end. Let's just jump into the first roll. All right, TBR Bluff, roll number 1. Okay, so we have a 1, a 4, a 5, a 6, and a 5. So I'm going to keep these 2. Hopefully Cassidy doesn't yell at me this time for forgetting that I have like a straight or something like that. Okay, roll number 2. Still not looking great, so let's do our final roll and just kind of see what we get. 2 4s, a 2, and 2 5s. I can work with that. Okay, so for roll number 1, we got 2 4s, 2 5s, and a 2. Let's see, 2 4s and 2 2s. No, I need 2 4s and 2 5s, okay? So, great. That's a chunky book. I do see 1. Let's see if there's another space on the board. Another 2 4s and 2 5s. Sometimes there's some duplicates. See if I get options. So 2 4s and 2 5s down at the very bottom left. It's an author that I've never read. I think I'm going to do, because I have a lot of like Christmas romances and things that I want to get on my TBR this month, I think I'm going to do author that I've never read. So for roll number 1, we didn't start off too bad. We had 2 4s, 2 5s, and a 2, and that got me an author that I've never read. This is a pretty extensive, possibility list, and I wanted to go with something wintry, and I don't really have a exact book picked out for this one. I might do one of my Christmas romances, but I also really want to get in some polar fantasy. It's going to be one of those off of my winter TBR. That is my list of possibilities, but it will be one of the authors that I've never read off of my winter TBR. Okay, TBR Bluff roll number 2. Ah. Again, 2 5s, a 4, a 6, and a 1. Honestly, I think I'm just going to re-roll that. 2 3s, a 4, a 6, and a 1. So we're going to keep out the 2 3s. I cannot keep a hold of these die today. Okay. 3 3s, a 2, and a 4. So for roll number 2, we had 3 3s, a 2, and a 4. So we need a 3 3s, which is isolated setting. See if there's another one on the board. No, not isolated setting. Those are 6s. I see a 4 3s. Oh, non-Western setting. That may be the only one on the board. Okay, so I guess we will be going with a non-Western setting. Okay, and then for our next roll, we got 3 3s, a 2, and a 4, and this ended up with a non-Western setting. This one was a little bit tricky because I'm quickly realizing that not a lot of my books tell me where they're set. I mean, you can assume that a fantasy is kind of a non-Western setting, but a lot of these don't tell you explicitly on the back. So what I did was I looked at The Drift by C.J. Tudor because I do want to really read that in December. It's an arc that I have. And she is from Nottingham. I don't think I'm saying that right, Emma. Correct me if I'm wrong. But that is on the other side of the world, so I think I'm going to use this one for a non-Western setting because I believe, if I'm recalling C.J. Tudor's previous works correctly, she sets them in kind of the European side of the world. The Drift is about this group of people that get stranded kind of at the edge of the world. I believe that a woman, she's a former detective, and she wakes up to a gentle rocking. She's in one of those cable cars that's been suspended and just kind of stopped over this huge snowy landscape, and she's in there with a bunch of other people that are wearing the same uniform that she is, and then they realize that one of the people in the cable car is dead. It just sounds cool. I really want to read a bunch of snowy settings, and that one just sounds absolutely perfect. I was planning to read it in January anyway. I have the arc. I need to get it done, so. All right, TBR Bluff, roll number 3. 2 4s, a 3, a 1, and a 6. Another 3, a 6, and a 1. So we're just going to roll that handful one more time. 2 5s and a 2. Okay? Okay, so for 2 4s and 2 5s, we have a chunky book. And we've already done the 2 4s and 2 5s once for author that I've never read. So I guess we get to do what I was trying to avoid the first time and get chunky book. And then for the next roll, I got 2 4s, 2 5s, and a 2. And this ended up giving me a chunky book. That was a lot harder to find than I thought because I don't want to read too many chunky books in December. Massive chunky books that I don't already kind of have planned out is not something that I really wanted to do. Like I said, I do need to read The Echo of Things to Come, but I think I'm going to do that one in early January. I failed miserably at the Faithful and the Fallen vlog, which is still coming. It's just been pushed out a little bit, so I really do need to read Malice for that, or Valor, any of the ones in the stack. So all of those are options, but I'm also going to be reading Spiffbo books in the month of December and January. So 2 options that we have are The Fires and the Forebears by L.A. Buck, and then The Umbral Storm by Alec Hudson. Both of these are over 500 pages, which is kind of what I'm considering chunky, and either one of these would definitely work. The way that I am picking what order I read Spiffbo in is going to kind of depend on what order I read, which one of these I read. This one is more of a classic fantasy. I believe it has centaurs in it, but because it is a more classic fantasy, I am a little bit more concerned about it. And just the tagline says, pitted against one another with the people and the country they love in jeopardy, the daughter of a deserter and the son of the king have the chance to fulfill their forebears' legacy or destroy it entirely. So that one sounds interesting. And then we also have the Umbral Storm, which is another one that is quite long. 1,000 years ago, and the heart of the world was shattered, its fragments scattered across the lands. This one has gods. I think it is a little less classic fantasy, but still has a lot of those classic fantasy tropes. So hopefully I enjoy one of these. I've heard the writing in them is a little not great, and so that does concern me, but I'm hopeful. TBR Bluff, roll number 4. 6, a 5, a 1, a 3, and a 1. So we're going to keep these 2 1s out. Another 1. Okay, last roll. Okay, so 3 1s, a 3, and a 6. Alright, so for roll number 4, we had 3 1s, a 3, and a 6. So we're going to have to do 3 1s. That's just the only way to do it. And that's a book that I have previously DNF'd, or a blurbed book, it looks like. I don't like any of those options. I have to do one anyway. So blurbed is more fun. We're going to do blurbed. Okay, so I think we are moving on to roll number 4, if I'm not mistaken. And that was 3 1s, a 3, and a 6. And we got blurbed for that one. I like the blurbed prompt. I think it's interesting, but it's really, really hard. So I ended up going with Merry Little Meet Cute by Sierra Simone and Julie Murphy, I believe. This is going to be the officially unofficial book club pick for the month of December. It is a Christmas romance, and we're really curious to see how spicy it's going to lean because these two are an interesting combo. But it was blurbed by Tessa Bailey, and Tessa Bailey is a romance author that I also really, really enjoy. So that knocks out the blurbed prompt, and I'm excited to get to that one. I was hoping to be able to get it on this TBR somewhere, and we have a win. All right, TBR Bluff roll number 5, which would have been our last roll, but I have to... Okay, so 2 3s, a 6, a 5, and a 2. Okay. That was not a roll. 1, a 4, and a 6. Wow, these rolls are just not in my favor today. Cannot get my duplicates. Another 3, a 2, and a 4. I'm not sure that's going to work out because we've already had 3 3s, but here we are. Alright, so for roll number 5, we had 3 3s, a 4, and a 2. That's the one that we have already had once, and we did non-Western setting, but I swear there was another 3 3s on this board somewhere, because that's not 7 or 9 when you add them together. Uh-oh. Do you guys see another 3 3s? Because I don't. Oh no. Oh no. Crap. Okay. So for the next roll, we had 3 3s, a 4, and a 2, and I had said that I didn't know how that was going to go because we'd already had that exact same combination once. Turns out it didn't go well. I couldn't find another prompt other than the one that I had already used. So we had to do an extra roll. Kind of what I'm doing, at least for now on this one, is whatever the extra roll prompt was, I have to pick 2 books because otherwise it doesn't add a book. I might end up changing that in the new year. There's still a couple of things about the board that I really kind of want to play with. So if you have any suggestions on how to make that work, let me know down in the description box because I would love to hear it. So then moving on to prompt number 6. All right, TBR Bluff roll number 6, punishment roll. I need this to have been a 3. That would have been nice, but it's not. So let's try this again. Well, I should have left those down and I could have just re-rolled that one, but here we are. I've already picked them up. So, roll number 2. 2 1s, a 2, and 2 5s. So we're going to re-roll this one. And a 6. Alright, so punishment roll, which was roll number 6, but now we're going to have to add 7. That was a 6, 2 5s, and 2 1s. So we need 2 5s and 2 1s, which is either a sci-fi or think that may be the only one on the board. Okay, so we're going to be doing a sci-fi. This is not shaping up to be a very Christmassy TBR. So then moving on to prompt number 6, we had a 6, 2 5s, and 2 1s, and this ended up being a sci-fi book. I enlisted Emma to see if there was any like snowy sci-fi that she could think of or sci-fi set at Christmas, but she couldn't really think of much. So I ended up going with Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. This is one that's been on my TBR for forever. I've heard good things about it and I just haven't gotten around to it yet, so I really, really do need to pick this one up. It is about a woman that is on the repair crew for a ship and they get a really strange distress signal and they find basically the Titanic of spaceships has just been completely abandoned. There's nobody there. There's nothing available anymore. It's a salvage crew, unspeakable horrors, and a ghost ship. And I'm really curious because I'm learning that sci-fi horror is something that I really, really enjoy. It's something that typically grips me, keeps me engaged, keeps me interested. And so I'm excited to give this one a go now knowing that that's something that I love. And last one, because I told you that roll wasn't going to go well for me. 2 2s, a 1, a 3, and another 2. Okay. Let's keep those out. 3 and a 6. We're just going to roll those again. And a 6 and a 5. Okay. Okay, and then I hope I get a good one for roll number 7 because we have got to pick 2 books for that one. And that is 3 2s, a 6, and a 5. So 3 2s is reverse page count. Can't really use 2 2s because we do have a 3 2s on the board. So I guess we will be doing reverse page count and we will have to try to pick 2 books for those because we didn't manage to find the space on the board otherwise. And then for the last prompt, we had 3 2s, a 6, and a 5, and this ended up being reverse page count, which I need to pick 2 books for. We're going to cheat because I looked at the page count on this one and realized that it's 339 pages. Well, the reverse count of that is 933 pages. I don't own a 900-page book. So the way that the reverse page count works is that you look at the book prior and look at the page count and then flip that and you're supposed to find a book as close to that page count as you can. I don't have a 900-page book and I'm not adding 2 of them to this TBR, so forgive me, but we're gonna do the prompt before that, which was Merry Little, or the book before that, which was Merry Little Meet Cute. That one is 432 pages, so I need a book as close as I can to 234 pages. And I ended up picking 2 for this one. I have Merry Christmas to Me, which is by Jerica McMillan. I read the some kind of grumpy Christmas something last year and really, really enjoyed it. It was a grumpy sunshine, which I don't typically like, and a single parent type trope, which I also don't typically like, but I had a ton of fun with it. So I'm excited to get to this one. So this one is a best friend's brother, enemies to lover romance that gives all the holiday feels. And best friend's brother, enemies to lovers, I like those tropes, so hopefully if she can make me like tropes that I didn't enjoy, I should have really good luck with this one as well. And then the other one that I ended up going with is Voices in the Snow by Darcy Coates. This is a horror book. Cassidy just recently read it and really enjoyed it. She said that it actually has some romance to it, I think, and she enjoyed that part as well. It's cold. It's about a woman that remembers the snow. She remembers like having some kind of crash, but she wakes up in this stranger's house and the stranger seems kind, but there's stuff that just doesn't seem right. And it seems like it's going to take a little bit of locked in snow with haunted house type vibes. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. And I'm excited to read yet another Darcy Coates in the month of December. So kind of a choppy insert here. I just did my Witches Brew pick with my Patreons. We're sprinting right now while I'm filming this and they wanted to see it done live. And I got The Grey Bastards by Jonathan French. And this was Gemma's pick for me. So I'm super, super excited to read this one. It is supposed to be a mix between like Mad Max and Tolkien, so I'm curious to see how that exactly plays out. I've heard good things about it. It's been on my radar for a while now. I just haven't gotten around to it, and so I'm glad that this is going to encourage me to do so. Remember, I do have December and January to read this one, so I'm not sure which month it's going to fall in, but I finished, speaking of, while we're talking about this, I will be finishing Furies of Calderon by Jim Butcher, which was William's pick sometime in the next day or two, and I will share with you guys all of my thoughts on that one in my Knock It Out November wrap up. Okay guys, so I think after all of that, we have finally got my official December TBR. There are, I'm sure, a ton of books that I'm forgetting that I really, really wanted to get read before the end of the month. And I couldn't tell you what they were. I am drawing a blank. It's like the end of the month just snuck up on me and wiped out all of my memory. But with that being said, I don't want the month of December to be stressful on the goals front. I just want to read a bunch of books that I enjoy because I can roll over those goals into the new year, and that's what I'm going to try to do. Even though the TBR was not kind, I think it's going to be fine. I think it's gonna be fine. I'm gonna stop rambling. Please let me know down in the description box what is your most anticipated read for the month of December, and if there's anything that you recommend for the board in the new year when we switch around some rules. As always, links to my Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads are all in the description bar down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe if you wanna, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.